Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm already cracking up about this James Harden story. Why? Because I was listening to a video today that was recommended to me. On YouTube, and it was featuring Jim Rome. Now, some of you may remember who Jim Rome was, because Jim Rome used to be on ESPN, right? He used to have a very popular show. And in this clip, he was talking about James Harden. And while he was talking about James Harden, he was essentially calling him a name that I've not heard anyone call James Harden before, which is James Larden. Which was, it's crazy to call now I'm on a diet, so I'm no one to be calling people out by calling them overweight or anything like that. I just thought it was interesting to hear that, hear somebody giving him that type of moniker. And funny enough, we actually, when we put up the post, some people asked the question, is Jim Rome still around and all of these different things? Well, Jim Rome is definitely still around. He's definitely still around and he's still making a lot of money. From what I heard, and from an Outkick article I'm just glancing at here, Jim Rome is actually reportedly making $30 million a year, according to the Athletics tweet. According to the Athletic, he earns more than Stephen A. Smith. Puff Daddy that went on P. Diddy that went on Paul George's podcast. I thought that was Puff Daddy for a second. I thought it was a $850 million guy, the way he was looking and talking. I thought it was P. Diddy for a second, the way he was swagged out. I was like, man, Paul George got P. Diddy on the show today. Oh my goodness. You would have thought it was Aliko Dangote on the show, man, the way he was talking, or, one of these Tony Olemalu, one of these guys, right? My God, the way he was talking to Jay-Z, this super ultra uber rich guy. But anyway, Jim Rome is doing well for himself. So you guys know the James Harden drama. James Harden is turning himself into one of the biggest laughingstocks in the NBA, because now James Harden is becoming synonymous for quitting and forcing trades from team to team. This is the new MO of James Harden. As a matter of fact, here are a list of the teams that James Harden has forcibly asked to be removed from: the Houston Rockets, the Brooklyn Nets, and now the Philadelphia 76ers. And James Harden has figured out a system that whenever he's ready to get traded, he either just stops playing well or puts on a lot of weight. And then all of a sudden he becomes unplayable. And now it seems like the situation between himself and the Philadelphia 76ers has, dare I say, soured. And he no longer wants to have anything to do with that organization by all accounts. As a matter of fact, we produced a show around this about 2 days ago, where he was in China attending a basketball camp, and they asked him, and unsolicited, he went out there and basically said, I can never play for an organization that has Daryl Morey working at it as well. So it seems like James Harden has completely checked out from this situation. So what happened? Today I was doing some research and I came across an article from fadeawayworld.net, and it was basically highlighting some comments that Kyrie Irving made in support of James Harden in the situation that he currently finds himself in, with the Philadelphia 76ers. But before we get into this article, this video is brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let me get into this article here. It starts off with the headline, Kyrie Irving slams Daryl Morey for lack of transparency in James Harden contract negotiation. It continues on. Kyrie Irving minced no words while sharing his takes on the James Harden Philadelphia 76ers saga. Responding to Adrian Wojnarowski's ESPN story of Harden public blasting of Sixers president Daryl Morey, Irving wrote, "Is he disgruntled, Adrian? ? Or is he holding Daryl Morey accountable for his dishonesty and lack of transparency throughout the contract negotiation process this summer?" So that's what Kyrie Irving had to say in defense of James Harden. Here are my thoughts. First of all, I'm going to assume that this is something that Kyrie Irving and James Harden have probably discussed personally for him to know all of this, right? Number one. Number two, I'm also going to assume that these guys still have, a relationship. So I'm going to assume that those things are there. However, here's the problem. The problem is not that Daryl Morey has been negotiating in bad faith, because that could very well be the case. And that could very well be the reason why James Harden no longer wants to be associated or annexed to him in terms of playing for the same organization that Daryl Morey works for. I understand that. The problem is the person in question. We're talking about James Harden, who has developed a reputation for being a chronic quitter. This is the problem. This is why James Harden will find it difficult to get the sympathy vote. This is the reason why some people may hear what Kyrie Irving just said and his words may fall on deaf ears. Because some people be like, yo, get out of here, Kyrie, man. We talking about James Harden. This dude is always quitting. This dude is always forcing trades. This dude is never showing up in the playoffs when you need him. He's just there. So nobody wants to hear you come into the defense of James Harden. And I think that's how Kyrie Irving's message is going to land. And to be fair with you, the reputation that James Harden has, he's the one that created it. No one else did. And if he finds a way to be traded from this team, it would be yet another example of the things that people say about James Harden as far as being somebody that's always looking for a way to force a trade and cause havoc whenever he's unhappy. One of the questions I've been hearing out there is, what will make James Harden happy? What scenario will make James Harden happy? You're playing on a contender. You have the regular season, the league MVP on your team. What more do you want? This is exactly what Tracy McGrady said. It's like, bro, what else do you want? So no one really knows what James Harden wants. No one really knows what's his motivation. No one knows this. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see how this thing plays out. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about what Kyrie Irving had to say, number one? And number two, do you ultimately think that the Sixers are going to deal James Harden, or do you think that this thing is going to go on and continue on and we're going to have another episode of Ben Simmons again? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.